We often look at the mountain ahead of us and feel overwhelmed. We wonder how we will ever reach the top. But we forget that every mountain is climbed one step at a time. Great transformations don't happen in one giant leap. They happen through small, consistent steps taken every single day. Think about it. No tree grows overnight. A tiny seed buried in darkness slowly pushes its way through the soil, reaching for light. Each drop of water, each ray of sunlight, each day of patience. Together, they create something magnificent. In the same way, your life changes not by one big decision, but by the little choices you make daily. Many people wait for the perfect moment to start, when the time is right, when the motivation strikes, when everything feels aligned, but that moment rarely comes. The truth is, progress doesn't come from waiting, it comes from doing. Taking one small step today is better than planning 1,000 for tomorrow. The power of small steps lies in consistency. Reading one page a day, walking 10 minutes, practicing gratitude for a few moments. All these may seem insignificant, but over time, they shape your mindset, your habits, and ultimately your destiny. Small steps turn intentions into results and dreams into reality. Sometimes, you won't see the results immediately, and that's okay. Change often works silently, like roots growing underground before the tree appears. Keep moving, keep trusting the process. What matters is that you are becoming a little better today than you were yesterday. And remember, discipline beats motivation. You won't always feel inspired, but if you stay committed, those small efforts will add up. Slowly, quietly, you'll realize that the impossible has become possible, not because of one big action, but because of the small, daily steps you took with faith and determination. So, start today. Take that small step. Read that page. Say that prayer. Make that call. Forgive that person. Smile more often. Every little act counts. Because in the end, it's not one grand moment that changes your life. It's the tiny moments that build up over time to create something extraordinary. Big changes are built through small, consistent steps, not sudden leaps. When we look at success stories, we often see only the outcome, the trophy, the recognition, the applause. But what we fail to see is the long journey of small, quiet efforts that made that success possible. Every masterpiece was once a blank canvas. Every symphony started with a single note. And every great human transformation began with one small decision. Life doesn't reward those who rush for instant results. It honors those who stay steady and take small steps, one after another, even when no one is watching. Think of a person who wants to climb a tall mountain. Standing at the base, the peak looks impossible. It feels too far, too high, too demanding. But when that person starts walking step by step, slowly and steadily, something magical happens. The peak that once looked unreachable starts to come closer. Every step taken makes the next one a little easier. Every small effort adds up. The same is true for our dreams and goals. The mountain of success isn't conquered by leaps, it's conquered by persistence. We live in a world that celebrates speed. We want fast results, quick growth, instant satisfaction. But real progress doesn't happen that way. You can't rush a sunrise or speed up the growth of a flower. Everything valuable in life takes time. Just as water shapes rock, not through force, but through consistency, your daily actions, small, simple, and steady, will shape the life you dream of. When you commit to small steps, you train your mind to focus on the journey rather than just the destination. You learn patience, discipline, and resilience. Qualities that make the difference between short-lived success and lasting fulfillment. Let's take an example. A person who decides to improve their health might start by walking for just 10 minutes a day. It seems small, almost insignificant. But over weeks, those 10 minutes become 20, then 30. The energy increases, the confidence grows, and one day they realize they've transformed their lifestyle completely. What made the difference? Not a drastic diet or a sudden change, but small, consistent steps taken every day. The same principle applies to every area of life, whether it's learning, building relationships, growing spiritually, or achieving professional excellence. Even in nature, small, steady changes create big impacts. A river, drop by drop, carves valleys over centuries. The wind, grain by grain, shapes the dunes in the desert. The universe itself moves slowly but purposefully. Why, then, do we rush ourselves? Why do we lose hope when progress feels small? Because we forget that the magic lies in consistency, not speed. Small steps may not seem impressive at first, but they are powerful because they are sustainable. Anyone can make a big move once. Only a few can stay committed to small moves every day. So when you feel discouraged or think your efforts are too small to matter, remember this: even a drop of water, when it falls consistently, can wear away the hardest stone. Every little action you take builds momentum. Over time, these small steps will lead you to places you never imagined possible. Greatness is not achieved overnight. It's built quietly, day after day, step by step. With faith and perseverance, every great achievement starts with a simple beginning. Just like a seed becoming a tree, in life, we often admire the tall trees, the ones that provide shade, strength, and fruit. But we rarely pause to think about how they began. Every mighty tree was once a small, fragile seed buried deep in the darkness of the soil. It didn't become majestic overnight. It had to go through the process, facing the cold, pushing through the dirt, and waiting patiently for sunlight. That is how all great things begin. Not with grandeur, but with humble starts. So many people dream of doing something extraordinary, building a business, mastering a skill, or making a difference in the world. But they hesitate to begin because their first step feels too small or insignificant. They compare their seed to someone else's tree. But the truth is, everyone starts somewhere. Every expert was once a beginner. Every success story had a starting point where things looked uncertain, small, and even invisible to others. What makes the difference is not where you start, but how willing you are to take that small, faithful beginning and nurture it day by day. When you plant a seed, you don't see results immediately. You water it, care for it, protect it, and for days, maybe weeks, there's no sign of life. But beneath the surface, the miracle is happening. Roots are spreading, strength is forming, and growth is preparing itself for the right time to appear. That's how our goals and dreams work too. Just because you don't see progress right away doesn't mean growth isn't happening. Invisible progress is still progress. The key is to trust the process and stay consistent, even when results are not visible yet. Too often, we give up because we expect instant outcomes. We live in a world of fast food, fast internet, and fast results. But the best things in life, like wisdom, mastery, and personal growth, don't work on shortcuts. They demand patience, humility, and perseverance. When a seed is underground, it could easily doubt itself. Will I ever grow? Will I ever see the light? But it doesn't stop pushing upward. And that's exactly what we must do when life buries us in challenges or uncertainty. We must keep pushing, trusting that growth is happening in silence. If you look at any great success story, scientists, artists, leaders, or visionaries, they all started with small steps, a single idea, a simple effort, a little act of courage. The small beginnings were never glamorous, but they were powerful because they were sincere. It's the sincerity of effort that transforms an ordinary beginning into something extraordinary. The seed never competes with others, it just grows into its purpose. Similarly, when we focus on our own growth instead of comparison, we begin to flourish in our unique way. So, never underestimate the power of starting small. The seed doesn't look like the tree it will become, yet it carries within it the potential to grow tall and strong. Your small beginning today may not seem significant, but if you nurture it with patience, faith, and hard work, one day it will stand as a testament to what quiet beginnings can create. Every great story, every meaningful journey, every big change always begins the same way, with one small, simple, courageous beginning. Waiting for the perfect time delays progress. Action is the real starting point. Many people spend their entire lives waiting for the right moment. They wait for the right mood, in the right opportunity, the right amount of money, or the right conditions to begin something meaningful. But the truth is, the perfect moment never really arrives. Life will always have challenges, distractions, and uncertainties. Those who achieve something extraordinary are not the ones who waited. They are the ones who started, even when things weren't ideal. When we wait for everything to align perfectly before acting, we unknowingly create an illusion that comfort equals readiness. But comfort rarely leads to growth. Growth happens when we step into discomfort, when we take action in spite of fear or uncertainty. Think about a seed again. It doesn't wait for perfect weather to sprout. It grows even when surrounded by stones, mud, and uneven soil. If it waited for perfection, it would never become a tree. Likewise, in life, progress begins not in perfect circumstances, but in imperfect efforts made consistently. Many people say, "I'll start when I feel ready." But readiness is not an emotion, it's a decision. You don't get ready by waiting, you get ready by doing. Every action you take, no matter how small, builds momentum. That momentum creates confidence, and confidence creates results. When you take the first step, no matter how uncertain you feel, life begins to move with you. The path unfolds as you walk it. You don't need to see the entire staircase to take the first step. You just need faith in your direction in there. There's a saying that time is like a river. You can't touch the same water twice because it flows and never returns. Every moment you delay action is a moment that passes forever. Opportunities don't wait. The present moment, however small, holds the seed of progress. If you act now, you plant that seed. If you delay, you lose the chance to grow. Many people look back after years and say, "I wish I had started earlier, but the best time to start was yesterday. The next best time is today." Think about a person who wants to write a book but keeps waiting for the right inspiration. Years pass, and the book remains unwritten. Another person simply starts writing a few lines every day, even when inspiration doesn't come easily. Over time, those small efforts turn into chapters. And those chapters become a complete story. The difference isn't in talent, it's in action. One waited for perfection, the other embraced progress. Perfection is a myth. It keeps you trapped in planning instead of progressing. Action, even imperfect action, leads to clarity and growth. You learn more by doing than by waiting. The first attempt may not be flawless, but it teaches you something valuable that no amount of planning can. The courage to start gives you power over hesitation. It transforms someday into today. So, don't wait for the stars to align or for conditions to become perfect. Begin now with what you have, where you are, and how you can. The act of beginning itself sets miracles into motion. Action is not just the first step towards success. It's the bridge between dreams and reality. Once you take that step, life begins to respond, guiding you toward opportunities you could never have seen while standing still. Consistency is more powerful than bursts of motivation. Motivation is wonderful. It gives us energy, excitement, and a sense of direction. But it is temporary. It comes and goes like waves, rising high one day and disappearing the next. Consistency, on the other hand, is steady like the ocean itself. It is not loud or dramatic, but it moves mountains over time. True success, true transformation, does not come from moments of inspiration. It comes from daily dedication, from showing up even when we don't feel like it. Think about how habits are formed. A person may feel deeply inspired after listening to a powerful message or reading an inspiring book. For a few days, they might wake up early, exercise, or study with enthusiasm. But soon, the excitement fades and the old routines return. This is the nature of motivation. It ignites the fire, but cannot keep it burning. What keeps the flame alive is consistency, the daily decision to stay committed no matter how you feel. The world's greatest performers, athletes, and thinkers did not reach excellence because they were always motivated. They did because they were consistent. They trained when they were tired, practiced when no one was watching, and stayed disciplined when others quit. They understood a simple truth: discipline creates results, motivation only creates movement. When you depend solely on motivation, your progress becomes unstable. Some days you'll move forward, other days you'll stop completely. But when you rely on consistency, even small efforts build up over time, creating lasting success. Imagine two people who want to learn to play the guitar. One practices for 5 hours in a single burst of motivation and then leaves it for weeks. The other practices for just 20 minutes every day. After a few months, who will play better? The answer is obvious: the one who practiced consistently. The reason is simple: small, repeated actions compound. Consistency turns small efforts into big outcomes because repetition strengthens skill, builds discipline, and trains the mind to stay focused. Even in relationships, consistency matters more than intensity. A single grand gesture of love or kindness cannot replace daily acts of care, patience, and understanding. A tree doesn't grow tall because of one day of sunlight. It grows because it receives light every day. Similarly, your dreams don't grow because of one day of hard work. They grow because of steady, daily commitment. The beauty of consistency is that it doesn't demand perfection. It only asks for presence. You don't have to do everything at once. You just have to keep doing something every day. Even on tough days, when energy is low or motivation is gone, doing just a little keeps the momentum alive. It reminds your mind that progress is still happening. Over time, those small, consistent actions create habits, and habits define your destiny. So, instead of waiting for the next wave of motivation, anchor yourself in discipline. Decide that no matter how you feel, you'll keep showing up. You'll keep taking small steps toward your goal. Because in the end, motivation may get you started, but consistency will take you all the way. It is the quiet, steady rhythm of effort that transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers and dreams into reality. Small daily actions, like reading, praying, or exercising, create lasting habits. Life is not shaped by what we occasionally do. It's shaped by what we do consistently. The little things we repeat every day silently build our character, our mindset, and our destiny. We often underestimate the power of small actions because they don't bring instant results. But over time, those small acts form habits, and habits define who we become. Just as tiny drops of water can carve valleys through stone, small daily efforts can create extraordinary transformation. Take, for example, reading a few pages of a good book each day. At first, it feels like almost nothing. A few minutes of quiet time that seems insignificant. But if you read just 10 pages a day, that's over 600 pages a year. That's about 10 to 12 books, depending on their length. Without even realizing it, your knowledge expands, your thinking sharpens, and your perspective widens. The same principle applies to every area of life. A few moments of prayer daily bring peace. A short walk each morning strengthens your body. A few kind words every day nurture your relationships. None of these actions feel massive on their own, but when practiced daily, they lead to immense growth. We often make the mistake of believing that change requires dramatic effort. We think we must completely overhaul our lives overnight to become better. But real, sustainable change doesn't come from massive leaps, it comes from small, steady steps repeated faithfully. When you focus on doing small things consistently, they become habits. And once something becomes a habit, it happens naturally. You no longer need to push yourself, you flow with it. Habits are powerful because they shape your identity. When you repeatedly act in a certain way, your mind starts to see you as that kind of person. If you pray daily, you see yourself as a spiritual person. If you exercise daily, you identify as someone who values health. If you practice kindness, you become someone whose presence uplifts others. Over time, your identity transforms, not because you made one big decision, but because you made small decisions every day that aligned with who you wanted to become. The beauty of small daily actions is that they are manageable. They don't overwhelm you. They gently lead you forward. You don't need to find hours of free time or wait for inspiration. You just need a few moments each day. Those moments accumulate and compound like money earning interest in the bank. The longer you stay consistent, the greater the return. It's also true that small negative actions can form harmful habits if we're not mindful. Complaining daily, wasting time on distractions, or speaking harshly can slowly shape our lives in the wrong direction. I flew for why awareness is important, because what you do daily determines the direction of your life. Choose your actions wisely, for they are the seeds of your future. So never underestimate the power of small acts. The greatest achievements, the strongest character, and the deepest peace are built on simple, repeated actions done with sincerity. It's not about doing big things once, it's about doing small things every day with intention. In the silence of those small efforts lies the secret of great transformation. Growth often happens invisibly before results are seen, just like roots grow before the tree appears. In life, we are often so focused on visible success that we forget about the unseen work that makes it possible. We want instant proof that our efforts are working, but the truth is, most progress happens quietly, behind the scenes, long before it becomes visible to the world. Just like a seed takes time to sprout, your dreams and goals also require patience, faith, and unseen perseverance before they show results. When a seed is planted in the soil, there is no sign of growth for days or even weeks. From the outside, it appears lifeless, buried, forgotten. But beneath the surface, something extraordinary is happening. Roots are forming, stretching deep into the earth, anchoring the plant so that when it finally breaks through the surface, it can stand tall and strong. Without those invisible roots, the plant would collapse at the first sign of wind or storm. The same is true in our lives. Before we grow upward in success, we must first grow inward in strength. Many people give up too soon because they can't see immediate results. They work hard for a few weeks, and when nothing seems to change, they lose faith. But every meaningful transformation requires an invisible season of preparation. A musician practices for years before their first concert. An athlete trains for thousands of hours before standing on the podium. A writer spends countless nights revising before publishing their book. Success is built in silence long before it is celebrated in public. The roots of effort must grow before the tree of achievement can rise. We live in a world that glorifies quick results. Social media shows us instant fame, quick money, and overnight success stories. But those stories often hide years of unseen struggle, discipline, and learning. Nothing great ever grows instantly. The most beautiful things in life take time to mature. You can't rush the sunrise, you can only wait for it. In the same way, you can't force growth. You must nurture it and trust that it's happening, even when you can't see it. Patience is the soil in which real growth happens. When you keep showing up, doing your best, learning from your mistakes, staying disciplined, you are growing, even if no one notices. You may not see the results today or tomorrow, but one day, the efforts you've sown will bloom into something beautiful. The roots you've built in silence will hold you steady when success arrives. Those who grow too fast, without strong roots, often fall just as quickly. But those who take time to grow deeply and steadily stand strong for a lifetime. So, don't get discouraged by the silence of your progress. Growth doesn't always announce itself with noise or recognition. Sometimes it's as quiet as a sunrise or as gentle as a seed pushing through the soil. Keep watering your dreams with effort and faith. Keep trusting that something within you is taking root, preparing to rise, because every unseen effort, every unnoticed step, every quiet struggle is not wasted. It's part of the hidden work that strengthens you for the day your success finally blooms for the world to see. Discipline ensures progress even when motivation fades. There are days when enthusiasm is high, when you feel inspired, focused, and unstoppable. But there are also days when everything feels heavy, when you don't want to get out of bed, when your goals feel distant, and when your heart lacks the energy to keep going. That's when discipline becomes your greatest ally. Motivation might start your journey, but discipline keeps you moving when motivation disappears. It's the bridge between desire and achievement, between dreaming and doing. Discipline is the quiet force that separates those who wish from those who accomplish. It doesn't depend on emotion, it depends on commitment. When you are disciplined, you do what you must, even when you don't feel like it. In the You follow your principles instead of your mood. It's not about being perfect every day. It's about staying consistent, even in imperfection. Discipline trains the mind to act on decisions, not feelings. And that simple habit, acting on what's right instead of what's easy, creates a foundation for success in every area of life. Think about an athlete training for a major competition. They don't wake up motivated every morning. Some days their body aches, the weather is bad, and their energy is low, but they still train. Why? Because they've made a commitment to their goal. They understand that showing up matters more than feeling ready. That is the essence of discipline. Doing what needs to be done, regardless of circumstances. And this same principle applies to anyone who wishes to grow. Whether it's a student preparing for exams, a person building a business, or someone striving to improve spiritually or emotionally. Discipline gives structure to your dreams. Without it, even the most brilliant ideas remain unfulfilled. Many people start strong but stop midway because they rely on fleeting motivation. But motivation is like a spark. It burns bright for a moment and then fades. Discipline is the steady flame that keeps burning even when the wind blows. It teaches you resilience, focus, and self-control. It teaches you that success isn't about occasional effort. It's about repeated effort, day after day, especially when it's difficult. The beauty of discipline is that it builds trust within yourself. When you stay disciplined, you prove to yourself that you can depend on your own word. You strengthen your inner character. You become reliable, not just to others, but to yourself. Every time you follow through on what you said you would do, your confidence grows. And this quiet confidence becomes your power. It helps you face challenges with calmness and determination. Discipline also protects you from distraction. In a world full of noise, temptations, and instant gratification, discipline keeps you grounded. It reminds you of your purpose when everything around you tries to pull you away. It helps you focus on long-term gains rather than short-term pleasures. You may have to say no to comfort today, but discipline ensures you say yes to growth tomorrow. So even when your energy fades and your inspiration disappears, let discipline guide you. Let it remind you that every small effort counts. You may not always be motivated, but if you stay disciplined, you will keep moving forward. Over time, discipline transforms into freedom. The freedom to become the best version of yourself, to achieve what once felt impossible, and to live a life shaped not by emotions but by purpose. Each small act of effort, kindness, or self-improvement compounds over time. Life works like a quiet chain reaction. Every thought, every word, and every deed sets something in motion. The problem is that most people dismiss small acts because they don't see instant impact. They think one kind word won't change anything. 1 minute of reflection won't bring peace. Or 1 page of study won't change their future. But when these small acts are repeated over time, they create powerful waves of transformation. The smallest effort done consistently carries more power than the biggest effort done once. Imagine dropping a pebble into a still pond. The ripples start small, but they spread wider and wider until they touch the edges of the water. Every small act in our life works the same way. A simple smile can brighten someone's day, and that person, lifted by your kindness, may go on to lift another. In this way, one moment of compassion multiplies far beyond what the eye can see. The same is true with self-improvement. One decision to be patient instead of angry, one effort to listen instead of argue, or one moment of forgiveness instead of resentment. All these tiny choices build character, strength, and peace within you. The compound effect of small actions is one of life's most profound truths. A person who saves a little money each day will, over time, build security. A student who studies a few pages daily will, over time, master knowledge. A person who practices gratitude daily will, over time, live with contentment. Nothing great appears suddenly. It is built slowly by the invisible weight of repetition. Each small effort adds a layer of growth, like drops of water filling a bucket. Eventually, that bucket overflows, but it started with single drops. Kindness too compounds. When you choose to treat others with respect, even when it's difficult, you build a world of gentleness around you. You might not see the results immediately, but kindness plants invisible seeds in people's hearts. Those seeds may take time to grow, but one day they blossom into trust, friendship, and harmony. In the same way, every act of self-improvement compounds inwardly. Each small effort you make to be better, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, adds to your strength. Over time, you become calmer, wiser, and more compassionate, not because of one big change, but because of countless small ones. The law of compounding also teaches humility. You realize that greatness doesn't come from dramatic actions, but from steady faithfulness. The one who stays kind, disciplined, and patient each day builds a life of true richness. The world may not notice your small deeds, but life keeps a record of them all. The energy you invest in doing good never disappears, it finds its way back to you multiplied. So, when you feel your small efforts don't matter, remember this: every drop contributes to the ocean. Every act of kindness adds light to a dark world. Every bit of personal growth makes you stronger for tomorrow. The miracle of life is that everything counts, even the tiniest action. Keep adding those small pieces of goodness, and one day you'll look back and realize that what once seemed little has created something vast, meaningful, and beautifully complete.